Hello teacher, in this video we are going to talk about sports writing. So of course, we will start with the definition of what is sports writing all about. So basically, sports writing is a journalism that covers sports, athletes, or other sports related issues, meaning to say it's just like a news story, or it's just like you are writing a news story. It's just that the story you are writing about is about sports, athletes, or other sports related issues. Okay? So if you are writing a news story, you are called a news writer, right? If you are writing a feature story, then you are called a feature writer. However, if you are writing a sports story, you are called a sports writer, and that's already given. Okay, so now let's try to learn what is the sports writing structure. Okay, let me just transfer my space. Okay, so just like a news story, so it has a structure. A sports article has a structure, and a sports story has a lead and a body. A lead and a body. Therefore, lead, just like in a news story, it is basically the attention getter. So your lead must catch the attention of your readers so that they will continue reading the rest of your sports story. Okay, so after the lead, there is the body. So body in the news, body rather, is the news in the nutshell. Okay, so later on we will try to learn how is it usually done, the lead, what are the contents of the lead. Okay, so now let's proceed to the components of the lead in a sports story. Okay, so in news, okay, it is not usually demanded of the writer to include all the 5 W's and 1 H. However, in sports writing, it is your lead in your sports article is considered good if you have these questions. Okay, if you have answered these questions, if you have these components. Okay, so what are these components in the lead of a sports story? So of course, if you want to catch the attention of your readers, you must include there who won the sports event. Okay, if you are writing sports like basketball tournament, volleyball, boxing, swimming, okay, so you will write there, of course, if who won the tournament or the sports event, excuse me, and you will also include there how did they win. Okay, how did they win? And of course, if that is a sports event, that is a tournament, there are two groups or two teams that are competing. So who won and against whom? Okay, so you will write there who won, how did they win, and against whom. Okay, so of course, if there is a competition or there is a sports event, then there is a winner and a loser. Of course, there should be the scores. So you will include in your lead the score. So by what score did the team A won over team B? Okay, so you will put the score there. Okay, so of course, in a sports story, it is also good to include where did the event happen and when did the event happen. Okay, so again, let me just repeat, these are the lead components in sports writing. Who won, how did they win, against whom, by what score, where, and when. Again, just remember these 6 components and you will surely have a good sports article lead. Okay, so let's proceed with the other elements for the sports lead. Okay, so here is the thing we call the key play. So here is an example. Okay, so when we say key play, it talks about, again, what do we mean by the key play? Of course, we are talking about the key players. Okay, so in this paragraph, who are the key players, or being the important persons, or being the important teams? So here it is stated that the key play here, or the thing, or the person, or the team being given highlight to, is the defending champion PW Sluggers. Okay, so they are the key players. Next is, that's the first element. Next is another element is the outstanding player. So who is the outstanding player of the teams? Okay, for this one, if we will compare it to news writing, it is something like the who lead. Now, in sports writing, we are talking about the what, who. Who is the outstanding player? So you may highlight that specific person. So just like here in the example, so who is the most outstanding player? It is Marietta Ancheta from Ateneo de Maliwalo. So on and so forth. Next element is the analytical approach. So from the word analytical, so you will put words there that somehow or like that needs statements that needs analysis, just a bit analysis, like just this one. You are something like you're writing here a feature story because your words are somehow colorful, something like that. So just like this, riding high on sizzling spikes and tricky placing. So from this word, very colorful siya, and it somehow needs analytical, okay, analytical approach. So this lead is considered to be a good lead since it uses elements such as analytical approach. Okay, so next is we are done with the leads. Okay, so now let's proceed to the next part, or the second part, important part of a sports story, which is the body. Okay, so what are now the components of the body? So of course we will put there the team and or the individual standing. Are they the champions before? Let's say, for example, you are writing a sports story about the basketball event or basketball tournament or paliga ba na siya? No, so you will try, let's say for example, kanang di ba sa basketball na siya murag 5 ka dula ba, tama ba? So sa first nga game, sa game 1 is nadaog si San Miguel versus Talk and Text, and then sa game 2 nadaog na po si Talk and Text over San Miguel. So you will try to put there the team standing. Okay, so next is the decisive plays. So when we say decisive, diba, it's the highlight, like the most important part nga kanang kuan dito sa play. Asa man imong gusto nga i-highlight, nag 3-point shot si kuan, nag 3-point shot si Romeo, nag 3-point shot si kinsa pa ng mga basketball player there. Okay, so it's just like the highlight of the events. Now, you will also in the body you will also put, of course, the best scores for the day. Since sportsman siya na a competition, there's always a sports scores involved rather. So you will put again the best scores for the day. You will put there the play by play. What do we mean by play by play? So you will put there unsa murag detailed description kung ano yung nangyari sa laro. Okay, so play by play, excuse me. And you, to make your sports article good enough, so you may include what? Quotations. So, kaninong mga quotations yung i-include? Well, of course, it's, let's say for example, you are writing a sports article about a basketball tournament, and so, may diba naman siya MVP, the most valuable player. Tama ba? So, you may include his statement, like diba after the game, the reporter will interview the MVP, and so you will include his statement on your sports article. Or if not the player, you may include the statement of the coach. Okay, players and coaches quotations. So again, this is the content of the body of a sports article. Now, let's discuss the 5 types of sports stories. Well, so first is the straight lead game story. So it's just like you're writing a news story, straight lead news story. So kanilang game story siya. So this article summarizes the main points of a game. So what do you summarize? If which team won or lost, the final score, and what a star player did. So yeah, straight lang siya, just like a straight news story. So here is an example. Anyway, I will give you a copy of this PDF, and so you might read this one. So next is the feature game story. So the feature game story is a favorite tool for professional sports writer because it gives fans and readers a different angle from the highlights they have seen on the TV. Okay, so by the way, before I forget, the straight lead game story usually is hindi na siya masyadong ginagamit these days ng mga professional sports writer. Why? Kasi nga, diba, doon sa journalism issues na topic natin noon, kanang, makita na, the viewers can already watch the game even before the sports article may be published. And so, hindi na nila masyado itong ginagamit kasi nga nakuha na ng mga viewers kung ano yung primary information about the game. Okay, so this is the least preferred type of sports story, by the way. So now the feature game story is, here's an example. So you might feature a prominent person in the sports area. So just like Manny Pacquiao, you may feature his game. Okay, his his kanang boxing man si Manny Pacquiao, no? So you may feature his game, another any teams that you may feature. Okay, so you, of course, the thing you will feature is the highlights of the game. Next is the profile. This is the third type of a sports story. So it's about the profile. So you may feature again the individual character or the individual players, so as well as their coach. Okay, in profiles, you may not just write about his life, but you may or his kanang gaming life, no? So you may also write about his katong mga outside game, outside the court nga life sa isa ka player. Mo na siya, pwede mo siya nga himuan og sports story. Okay, so next is the season preview and wrap-up stories. It is usually, like for example, ang game no, kontahay si San Miguel o si Talk and Text sa game 1 pa lang. So, pwede nimo siya himuan og story, like i-interview nimo ang coach kung unsa kaya ang feeling niya nga outcome after the game 5. Will they win or will they lose? Something like that. So, that is season preview and wrap-up stories. And after, pwede pud ka nga mag-wrap-up story ka. So, after game 5, you might interview the players or something like that. You might make a sports feature story about that certain game series. Okay? So, next is the column. So, it's just like an editorial column na in this one, usually what you write there is your opinion. Okay, you as a sports writer, you will share your opinion about a team, a coach who did not meet the expectations, kung paano niya, kung tahay wala kayo kagiganahan sa kung giunsa niya pagdala ang team, like that. Or pwede po din mo i-praise ang coach because he did very well in leading the team, something like that. So again, kunay editorial column na apoy sports column wherein the sports writer expresses his or her opinion. Okay, so here's an example. Now, here are the sports vocabulary. I will just show you that. These are the terms, by the way. Yes. And so here are some tips that we will discuss on the next video. So see you and thank you so much for listening. Bye.